Welcome to today's tutorial. My name is Frank and today we're talking about 5 Adobe Premiere tricks that you need to use. Okay, need to use is maybe a little bit of an overstatement. These are more 5 tricks that I feel like you should use because it will overall help your editing process become much smoother and more effective. So without further ado, let's jump right into tip number 1. This tip is very useful if you're working with images or stop motion. So let's say we have imported these images here. This is just a stop motion sequence of a commercial I'm working on. We can see that every image displays in 2 frames. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And let's say I want to do 1 frames instead. So instead of going into every image and changing them like this, you could do that, but that is going to take a lot of time. So instead what you want to do is you want to go into Edit, Preferences and Timeline. And here you can find Still Image Default Duration. And here you can choose how many frames an image should be displayed at when you first import them. So let's say I want to do 1 frames instead. I just put 1. Press OK. However, you need to re-import the images. If I just drag these images out, they will still be displayed in 2 frames. So what you need to do is you need to delete them, and then you need to import them again. And now when we drag these images onto the timeline, every image is displayed in 1 frame. So that is actually a quite handy trick to use, and one trick that I use a lot when I'm working with a lot of images, especially stop motion. So let's jump into tip number 2. Let's say you have a few images or sequences like this and you have done a lot of color correction and you have it looking nice and crisp. Maybe you have cropped the image a bit so it looks nicer. What I have seen some people do is that they go into the first clip with the effects, they copy the effects and they go into every clip and they paste them one after each other. But this is such a time waste and this is not something you want to do. No, instead what you want to do is you want to go into the first clip and you want to press Edit and you want to copy or Control C, and then you want to select all the clips you want to repeat the effect in, and then you should right click and paste attributes, and then you just select all the effects you want to apply. So here we applied a lumetric color and a motion, the scale or the cropping, and then we press OK, and now you have successfully done something that could have taken 10 minutes and you've done it in 2 seconds. So congratulations to you, you pro. Let's move right into clip number 3. So say you want to insert a clip in between 2 other clips. For example, here we have a sequence of my girlfriend walking on a bridge log. Beautiful sequence, by the way. But yeah, I don't like this transition, even though I do. But say I don't like this transition. I want to insert this flower from the timeline. I want to insert it here. What you could do, and what I see some people do, is they start to rearrange their timeline. So they start to go and they select all the clips and they drag it out. Maybe they miss a few clips, especially if you have a very messy timeline. This is not such a complicated timeline, but if you do have a messy timeline, you don't want to rearrange stuff. So what you want to do instead is you want to go to the end of this clip and you want to go to the frame where you want to insert your new clip. And then you're going to drag the clip, not onto the timeline, you're going to drag it onto the image in the program. And here you get a bunch of options. You can insert it, replace, overwrite, overlay, but we want to insert after. So I'm going to just hold the mouse over here to the right and we're going to drop it. Boom! So now the clip has placed itself perfectly behind this clip, which is exactly what we wanted. Then you can just drag out the adjustment layer and we can drag out the song again. Perfect. So let's jump right into tip number 4. So say you have a song here and you want to do a little bit of sound design, which is something I do a lot, and you try to zoom into the sound waves. This is maximum, I can't zoom in anymore. If I want to be very, very precise, which is not always something I want to be, but if I want to zoom in even more, you have to go up here to the timeline sequence, you right click, and then we go to something called Show Audio Time Units. And if I press this and I zoom in again, what's gonna happen? Well, look at that, we can zoom even more. Look at that. You see how much more we can see? So here you can really start to dig into the sound. This is a very specific tip that I think you should know about, but you shouldn't always use. Let's jump into tip number 5, which is a very basic tip, but it's so important. And I see a lot of people, including myself, I have messed up so many times by not locking layers. So locking layers, what it does is it basically locks a layer, which basically means you can't do anything with the layer until you unlock it. So what you want to do is you want to go here and you want to press the little padlock here. So now I can freely move around all my audio tracks without accidentally moving my background music. So that is a great tip that you should know how to use, and you should use it more. It's gonna save you a lot of pain and it's gonna save you a lot of time. So use that. Those 5 tips were all the tips I had for you today. Go out there and create something. I don't care what it is, just make a video, make something, create something. I'm excited. I'm excited for the future of this channel. I'm excited for editing. I really like this. It's such a passion of mine. And I will see you in the next video. As always, take care.